So the next thing that we want to do is add in the text at the top. So it needs to look like this. And fortunately, this is relatively simple compared to making this image grid. So the first thing we need to do is get the font. This font is called Railway. It's one of the Google fonts that we've seen so far. So I'm going to go to Google Fonts and look for Railway. Here we go. It's the top one here. Use. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab normal, and also let's do 800. And then we'll include this into our HTML. So we now have access to that font. And then all we need to do is add in the text first of all. So up top, I'm just going to make it a paragraph. And I'm just going to put my name, which is what I had here, separated by a slash. We can put whatever you want here. This could be text, this could be photography blog, or welcome to my blog, but just some text. I'm keeping it simple. And then save that. And then we'll go over here, select paragraph, and then we'll just say font family, Railway. And let's just see what we end up with. Okay, so not the most exciting, not quite there yet. It's too small, and it's not spaced correctly. We need it to move over 1.6% as well, just like this image. So to move it in line, we can start there. All we need to do is go over to our paragraph and add in our margin left. And that's just 1.66%. We refresh. Okay, now it's spaced correctly. So one more thing that we want to do is definitely increase the font size. So I know that the font size that I used here is 23 pixels. And not only that, but I used font weight of 800, which is why I had to select that. So in here, we'll say font size 23 pixels. I'll show you what that looks like. So it's bigger, but it's still not as bold. So then we go back and add in font weight 800 and save. Now we refresh and the font is looking close, but we're still missing one thing, which is the fact that I didn't use uppercase text. So I can do that using text transform, or I could alter the HTML. So I'm just going to do that here, text transform uppercase. Now we get all uppercase. There we go. So you can see just with that quick example why you would potentially use text transform, because it's much faster and easier just to add one CSS property rather than having to retype every single letter yourself, especially if you have a longer string of characters. Okay, so now the last missing piece is this little line here. I know it's pretty faint, but there's a line right here, and it goes in line with this first image. So it doesn't go all the way across. It goes 30% of the way across. So the way that we're going to do that is it's actually just a border on the bottom of, let's inspect it, on the bottom of this paragraph. So you can see that the paragraph itself goes 30% of the way across. It ends here, and then it's just border bottom that we turned on. So let's go back to our CSS, and under our paragraph, let's start by giving it border bottom, and let's make it obvious to start. So let's do like 3 pixels solid red. So we'll save and refresh, and you'll see that the border goes all the way across. And I guess it doesn't look too bad. We definitely want to fix this here, but rather than do that, I'm going to change the width so that it only goes 30% of the way across. So we'll start with that. So that's just a matter of assigning the width to the paragraph, 30%. Okay, so now it ends there. Then the next thing is making the color match. So the color that I use is very, very faint. Just going to change this here. It's a hexadecimal color, F1, F1, F1. Looks like that. You can see it's very faint. And I think I had it at 2 pixels rather than 3. So very minor change. Change that to be 2 pixels. And the very last thing is the spacing. So here you can see we have some space between the text and the border, and here we don't. So remember, space between an element and its border is padding. So if we inspect, we can verify that. You can see that green padding there. So we just need to get padding going here as well. So in our CSS, we're just going to do padding bottom, 20 pixels. And we'll go back, refresh, and now we have a little bit of space there. Now, of course, feel free to play with this however you like. If you preferred that line going all the way across or no line at all, if you want to make this text bigger, if you wanted to get rid of the padding or add more padding, if you want more images going across the screen rather than just 3, there's all sorts of things you can do. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed making something that looks somewhat okay.